Welcome to another enlightening audio moment from the Wisdom Library. This topic is life coaches, energy workers, and therapists of any kind in your life. The point of this brief audio training is to remember one primary thing, which is don't tell your problems to anyone who's not in a position to solve them for you, okay? What's the point of that? Unless your intention is to just really depress them and bring them down, and why would you want to do that to someone anyway? We actually should focus on reasons to bring people up in life, not to bring them down. So it's a very simple lesson for this one. Again, why in the world would you ever tell your problems to a person who has no way to really give you the results that you're hoping for? So just don't discuss your issues with somebody who can't or won't fix whatever it is that you're going through. This topic seems like common sense, but most people don't abide by this. Now, if someone just wants a venting session just to satisfy the emotions and chemicals going on within their own brain is one thing. People vent and others just listen all the time, or at least they pretend to listen to you while they're probably thinking of what they're going to say to you next. Humanity does that a lot. Okay then, if what you want to do is vent and just bring somebody down, go for it. But wouldn't you rather discuss your issues with someone who can actually help you fix whatever's going on for you once and for all? There are solutions to everything, you know. Seriously, there are solutions for everything. It doesn't matter what it is. You just have to know how to ask the right question and then in turn get the appropriate solution. There's substantial truth to the wise old saying, "Seek and ye shall find." But the key is, you just have to learn where to do your seeking. That's all. Another thing to be mindful of is who you allow to work on you energetically or therapeutically, if you will. The person that you've turned to who can supposedly help you. Are they living the sort of life that you would want to live, and do they seem to have their own life's problems resolved or under control? If they do, great. That's actually what you want. But if the answer is no, or it doesn't really seem like it to you, I strongly suggest that you run the other way. Seriously, run the other way. You wouldn't go to an out-of-shape personal trainer to teach you how to get in shape, would you? So why would you ever go to a therapist or someone like that who seems to have their own level of neurosis? This is something to really contemplate here. Now, if you simply observe people's actions and their own results in life, that should tell you a lot in itself. And not just preaching about what they think may work for you based on something they learned in school or in reading in some philosophy book. Look for the results and also speak to others who've had real results with that person that you're turning to. In addition, you want to turn to people who are really going to empower you and give you the wings you need to eventually fly out on your own. Not mentors or therapists who want to put a leash on you, connecting themselves to you forever. Codependency isn't healthy, nor is it in your own best interest, okay? Now, I do know a lot of great therapists out there who do help people transform, and the patients then go on their merry way with great results. That does exist. I can even think of some great therapists right now, and even some music therapists who have had such wonderful vibes to heal people with their own energetic gifts. They have such incredible results with their own work. That's what you want. But then you have the ones who care more about making more money from you the longer you're in therapy with them. That actually does go on as well. The same with some psychiatrists who've had the same patients for 5 or 10 years perhaps, and going to them once per week at $250 for a 55-minute hour for that session. Do the math here. 5 or 10 years at $250 per hour. Why would they ever want to let you go? It's in their best interest, not yours, to keep you venting when they may not have really helped you with your problems from the beginning for a reason. That's a very expensive vent session. See, if you continue to talk about your same old problems that you've had since birth, and it hasn't really resolved as you continue to talk about it, then something's really not working. It's important to remember that. You're just feeding the problems and making them greater in a way by continuing to vent about it and living in your past. Goodness, people, Your future really is what you think and do today. I know that sounds so cliche, but there really is truth to that. Now, I'm not knocking all forms of therapy or psychiatrists. Some of them are great with good intentions, as I said earlier. But I don't sense like that list is very long, unfortunately. It's such common sense for us to think about whom we would choose to help us. But people don't really think about that and sometimes start to spew their issues to whomever may be around to listen. That's not a good idea. It may make you feel better for a quick little fix with your emotions, but did your problems really go away? Okay, here's a quick exercise for you. Think of a problem right now in your life that you've gotten help for in the past, or perhaps you're even being treated for right now. It can be physical issues, emotional, relationship issues, or even something that has happened that really bugged you or that triggers you on some level. Whatever you want, but just pick one. Okay, you got it? Now, if you're not totally neutral or painless to whatever you're thinking about right now, or you even still feel some level of physical pain associated with it, then it's still ingrained within you and it hasn't been fully restored and fixed for you. It shouldn't trigger you on any level. You should be totally neutral to this. If it really has been removed, it shouldn't resonate with you anymore as a truth. It should feel somewhat alien and foreign to you, like it's no longer a part of you. Here's another little tidbit for you. The power you have resides in being neutral to situations in life. Like a neutron bomb is so powerful because it's neutral. It's not a proton bomb or an electron bomb, but a neutron bomb for a reason. So it's not about being positive or negative in your life. Neutrality is the key, and that's what you should aspire for, to be with anything in your life, so you're in full power and control of your reality. So nothing should impact you where you're reactive to something in any way. Neutrality is the key, remember that. But whatever it may be, it's still most likely there if you're not neutral to it, which means you wouldn't be feeling anything for it. So also turn to people who have something that you want to aspire to also have in your own life. Like the personal trainer who has a great body, who really does have their act together and empowers you to do the same. Or the wealth mentor who's really made the kind of money that you want to make. Follow their guidance with what they're there to train you about, and then you can basically live out what they've taught you. That really makes sense. Or even an esthetician who not only has perfect skin when helping you to take care of your own skin, but looks healthy overall, instead of just someone who gives you a facial because they were trained in doing it. If they're not emulating what you want for yourself, good riddance to them. And get a life coach who really has their own life together to their own liking and emulates the sort of life you would love to have for yourself. Otherwise, why are you having a life coach you if they're still having issues in their own life themselves? Actually come out and ask them. For the record, the percentage of so-called life coaches in the U.S. alone who totally have their life together is only 20%. And the ones who are 100% happy in life is 0. I'll repeat that. What percentage of the life coaches in the U.S. are 100% happy? The answer is 0. It doesn't even register. No joke. So it seems they should be calling themselves life coaches instead of life coaches, as far as I can see it, because they really don't even know how to fix anything about themselves, or at least everything about themselves, to be coaching you on something they can't do for themselves. Actually, I used to call myself a life coach once upon a time for a very brief moment, until I realized I certainly didn't want to be frequency specific to that energy out there and coaching others to live better lives when they don't even know what they're really doing for others. So since then, I've offered my assistants to train these life coaches at reduced rates because I would really love for them to learn what to properly do to be totally happy and fulfilled, and then in turn go around and really help someone else to do the same with the tools that I give them. Now that would be a great life coach, and that's the point. And then everyone wins. Now, if you decide to go to a person who's all of those things you want to be wrapped up into one, make sure they really are a one-stop shop to consult you in all areas of your life. Spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially, and perhaps even psychically, by the way. Someone who has mastered all the important things in life, who can walk their own talk. Otherwise, don't waste your time, energy, and money on anyone who isn't doing the things themselves to assist you. Also, a huge thing that I see nowadays is all of these energy workers messing with things they really have no business playing with. Energy has a lot of different variances of sheer power and not something to be messed with on another person if you just think you know what you're doing because you went to some seminar or some class to learn. It's like thinking that you can go in and fully wire an entire house electrically because you saw some home improvement show on TV. No, it doesn't work that way. Would you feel safe living in your own house that you electrically wired from scratch? Most likely not. It's not something you just wing and go do. There's substantial training to learn and even certain dangers involved that are best suited for a fully licensed electrician to handle, correct? Now, I'm the very first person to empower others and give them tools to help themselves when they're ready to receive them, and for them to really take off and soar with whatever information they've learned. That's great. More power to you. In fact, that's why I even put out these free trainings for you to fully empower and awaken you. But when it comes to someone thinking they can just play with energy with potentially unimaginable power without having some serious training and their own skills fully developed to even mess with that, that's some really scary stuff. Not for me, it's not scary because I've trained in one way or another my entire life to develop my skills for as long as I can remember. But it should be really scary for the masses out there. It seems so new agey and cutesy for people to work on energy for each other nowadays. But what they don't realize is that energy is an actual wave that any outside frequency can attach to and decide to catch a free ride on, if you will, until it gets to the intended particle, which is usually some poor fool who allow themselves to be the guinea pig in this equation. No, okay, no. That's very dangerous. I laugh because it amazes me how people don't think sometimes. This is serious stuff, guys. Here's a great rule of thumb for you. If the energy worker can't see it, feel it, or even smell frequency or variations of what's coming in, they really need to stay away from you and playing with people's energy. If they can't even see the light coming in during the process from any energy fluctuations going on, how can they call themselves light workers? If you can't see the light, why are you calling yourself a light worker? Interesting indeed. It's like just letting anybody come in and play with your computer and rewire it or mess around with your hard drive and input new software and then they're not sure what it even does. Your computer is not likely to function correctly after that, especially if the software that you're downloading may even have some bugs in it. I think that's a better way to look at it. I think it simplifies it a little more. You certainly wouldn't let just anybody come in and play with your computer because it's so precious to you. But you know what should be more precious to you than your computer? Your biocomputer, your life computer. That's your own body, mind, and spirit all wrapped up into one. And you're letting other people work with your energy? Seriously? In addition, if your energy worker hasn't done some specific things to not only protect themselves and clear their own energy before they decide to work on yours, you have now yourself been quantumly entangled with them and their own stuff that can get passed on to you. It's really kind of creepy when you think about it that way, but it's true nonetheless. So ask yourself about any worker. Would I want to be quantumly entangled with this person for whatever reason and pick up some of their own vibes if I perhaps let them work on me? So please, be mindful of who you let work on you to save you a lot of stress and potentially harmful stuff later that can actually block your own blessings from manifesting. So sometimes the work that someone ends up doing for you isn't necessarily going to result in your greater good. That's another point of this topic to be mindful of. It can end up feeling like some heavy burden or hex afterwards, like you're not even sure why you're feeling so off. Well, that's probably why. Now, another type of energy worker are those working on you without your permission or knowledge, regardless of your free will. Unfortunately, that stuff does go on a lot too. It usually falls under the category of hexes, charms, spells, or even curses done to manipulate and control another person against their free will. This really is true. If you play with another's free will, it's really not a good thing, to say the least. Our world is getting so polluted by those doing toxic stuff like this to others, and a lot of damage is being done collectively when they do this to control others. But fortunately, there's people like me who can access the levels above where all of their toxic work has been done and all of this lower level manipulation is removed at the highest level accessible to man. No hex or curse can survive once I'm done. Guaranteed. And not only a guarantee, I promise this to you, because it's time for us to wake up of what's really being done to you once and for all, because you may not even realize what's going on. So I do my part to fix wherever I can. As for the ones out there doing this kind of manipulation or paying workers involved in black magic to do stuff for them, what you put out there comes back to you tenfold. I promise you. Just remember that, as all will come full circle. I've even seen spouses put hexes on their mates to keep them controlled and manipulated against their will. And they actually think it's okay to do that because they think on some level they own their spouse. Well, no, you don't. We are all our own individuals with free will, and you don't own another human being like they're your property. So, no, it's not okay to do that. Actually, instead of playing with forces to control others, there are ways of tapping into your loved one's soul energy in order to reach their optimal and harmonize with them instead. If that soul is receptive to it unconsciously or consciously, it will resonate and it will happen. And actually, as long as it's done for the greater good of that person and coming from a place of pure love, it will always resonate with that soul. Because not only are you helping to harmonize you with another being, but in return, it's also manifesting collectively on the planet and doing something for the greater good, just embedding everything with more love as opposed to control. That way it's for greater harmony of all parties and not for control. Just remember that what you put out there comes back to you tenfold. So you wouldn't want to be controlled against your will. What you do to others will be done to you. Now, as for me, I'm even mindful of who I allow to even style my hair or give me massages, manicures, and pedicures, and things like that. I actually check first if they have any energetic attachments, their consciousness calibrations, their overall happiness and sincerity level. If they're being fully present or are in simple working zombie mode, even their own overall intentions before they can even touch me. I'm not kidding, which is why I end up doing my own hair and nails in the end anyway. Because there isn't a lot of great energy resonating out there on people, unfortunately. Now, this isn't about being paranoid. It's about being fully conscious and extremely discerning of who you allow into your own energy field to do anything on your behalf. There's a lot of cosmic vampires out there. I'm sure most of you have felt when someone's energy just drains you or it just doesn't feel right. Well, analyze these people as best you can before you ever let them too close to you. Many people have ended up with parasitic attachments from the energy work, or I end up finding out that their previous energy worker had their own serious life issues and attachments on them themselves. Wow. Or even some hater type who was simply giving my client the evil lie while they were getting a massage from them, and it ended up impacting them so greatly where I needed to fix them and get them back in check afterwards. Come on, you wouldn't allow just anyone to perform a surgery on you, right? Then why would you allow someone to do a cosmic type of surgery on you where it matters the most? On a spiritual level, it will impact your physical anyway. The cosmic rule is, as above, so below. So what happens spiritually impacts us physically as the end result. See my point? I keep harping on this because it's so important to remember this. Ironically, a very common practice I also see is those who have the biggest personal issues themselves seems to be the ones always trying to help others with their own issues. How ironic or even hypocritical of that. By the way, I use that word trying that way on purpose because it's a specific word frequency that adds limbo to the mix in your life and really stalls you from point A to point B, or even keeping you from getting to the point B in the end result anyway. As Yoda said, there is do and don't do. There is no try. So that's what he meant. A teaching on trying is for another audio topic at a later date, so just look out for that. The title is Trying, the frequency of staying in limbo. As for me, I've worked behind the scenes for as long as I can remember without ever going out to get clients. They always found me. I also never had even planned to have a website like I do now, except it's to a point that the masses are seriously in search for truth, and I felt that it was my own personal responsibility in a way to assist an even greater number of people now looking for help. It's been said, with great wisdom and great power comes an even greater level of responsibility. So that's why I'm now here for you. So now you know the importance of being extremely conscious of who you allow into your life to assist you and who to tell your problems to. Now, what if someone were able to pinpoint whatever it is exactly that ails you on so many levels that may not even be known to you? It may not even be the problem that you think it is. In fact, if it was, you or someone else would have already solved it for you, don't you think? I not only think that, I know it. It's really the unobvious to others that is so obvious to me that's usually what's most important, and people are so oblivious about it, which is why they can't fix you or why you haven't been able to even fix yourself. So if someone is really revealing what's up with you, you may even dislike them at the beginning as your mentor because they're bringing to light what's really going on that you may have been afraid to face and hate the process. It really doesn't take years to reveal things to you, but sometimes just a few moments or just a few weeks. It's like layers of an onion that continue to get peeled away. I peel away your layers of ego, which is just an acronym for edging God out. And then we get to reveal the real you that's been hidden underneath. It's important to know thyself, and you will know the gods of awe and the secrets of the universe. It's just a powerful expression that's very true. So that's a process. Yes, it can be a bit painful to face what you don't want to fix while still feeling somewhat blissful at the same time for you. And sometimes it's not even painful at all. It's just depending on how open and receptive you are to transformation. But in the end, your end results are that you are free of whatever it is and finally able to live a fulfilling life. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Well, you can do that. Trust me, you can. I do it for others all the time. Again, be extremely selective of who you allow to help you or work on you in any way. If the mentor, therapist, trainer, or life coach isn't resonating at their own ultimate vibration where you would want to reside in some way for your own greater good, say adios and move on. Feel free to contact me if this generates any questions afterwards within you. It would be my honor to help you to make the right decisions in your life. Also, remember to keep tabs on you before and after success and that you didn't go downhill in some way, okay? That's how you track your progress. Or actually, sometimes it feels like you've gone downhill and it's not really the case. It may just be a level of your own dark night of the soul within you, having you face things in your life while you grow that perhaps you didn't want to face before. It's like turning on the light to reveal all the dirt in a dark room. That's actually what's happening. Now, in case you don't understand what the term the dark night of the soul is, the simplest way to explain it to you is just look at it as necessary growing pains to get you to your next level once all has been cleared away. It's a great thing, so not something to worry about, but sometimes it does include a level of depression. But I also have another audio training on that topic for you, simplified, entitled The Dark Night of the Soul. And I will explain it in full detail and help you process it in that audio segment. So just remember what originally was the issue you went to someone for and how you are afterwards with it. And most important, are they empowering you to be free in the end? Okay? That's pretty much all I wanted to say about this. Sending you so much love with so much integrity and truth, whether it's painful for you or not. Bye for now.